back to This Is My Garden. I'm Chuck Bishop. Now, today my focus is getting tomato plants in the ground. Been a busy week, and we've had, like last night, an unexpected rainstorm come in, dropped a half-inch of rain. So it's a little bit damp out here, but we are going to go ahead and try this because it's past time to get these plants in the ground. Now, as you can see here, what I have done is I have laid out a sheet of plastic that runs the full length of my garden here. And what I have found is I can usually get about 3 years out of one of these sheets of plastic. So we're going to be planting everything in the plastic because, as I've said, after I got hurt, it's so hard on me to try to use a hoe to try to garden traditionally and try and maintain keeping the weeds down and all that. So I'm looking for the easiest ways to avoid all that. And I have found that plastic works really well for me. Now, as you can see back here, I still have what you would consider traditional gardening. And later on, I will be putting some beans out, some squash and zucchini, that type of thing over there. But for all the plants that I've started in the house, for my tomatoes, my peppers, even my okra this year, I'm going to put those in the plastic here and raise them here. Again, keeping all the weeds out of them and making them easy to take care of. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the cage out of the way here, and I'm going to be using an auger drill. Now, these are drill bits. I've got a couple of different sizes here. These are drill bits that you can buy at any gardening center. They originally came out for bulb plants, but today we're going to be using them to put tomatoes in the ground. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a slit in the plastic, and then I'm going to cross cut it, and then I'm going to fold each of those corners under, so that I can get down to the ground. Then I'm going to take my drill and I run it a little bit extra there because I'm trying to get as much dirt out of the hole as I can. Now I'm going to take my tomato, and this one's pretty big, so I'm not going to have to do a whole lot to it. Now, on a smaller plant, I would sucker the limbs off the bottom of it and make sure that the whole thing, at least like half the plant was down in the ground. On a tomato plant, pretty much any part of it that's touching dirt is going to root. And as you can see there from the bottom of it, these tomatoes have rooted pretty good. You got roots all through here. So I'm just going to squeeze that a little bit and break up some of that dirt. Basically, I'm trying to get it small enough to easily fit down in my hole. Reach in there and pull out any of that dirt that I can. All right, so I'm gonna drop that down. And like I said, had any of the limbs gone into the hole, I would have suckered them off. I would have pinched them off. In this case, that didn't happen, so I don't have to do that. And now I'm gonna put all my dirt, get all my dirt off my plastic. Dirt that it was raised in, and then I'm going to reach under the plastic where that loose dirt mounded up and pull it over to the plant. Pack that in, and now I'm going to reach in and grab them corners, and I'm going to untuck all them so as much of the ground is covered with plastic as can be. Set my stuff out of the way and bring my cage back over, and my tomatoes planted, and that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to go through and try to get all these in the ground. I'll get back with you in a little while. Okay, so the tomato plants are in the ground, pepper plants are in the ground. Even the okra that I started in the house is in the ground. We're going to be planting seeds in some of these other gardens, and I am going to be getting more pepper plants and a few other plants to go over here inside this garden as well. But I just wanted to show you how to utilize that plastic. And one thing that I will say, when you are suckering those tomato plants and you're taking those bottom leaves off, make sure that you do not drop them down in the hole. Get rid of them. The reason is because once they're broke off, they can attract a mold, and that mold can transfer to your live plants. Another way of avoiding that from season to season is to make sure you never put your tomato plants back in the same place 2 years in a row. You want to give that soil at least a year's break in between, not only to replenish the nutrients that came from there, but also to let the decay of any of those old leaves go away so that you won't transfer that blight to your tomatoes. Right here, now where we tilled this earlier in the year, right here, this is all volunteer sunflowers that came up from last year. So I've gone ahead and just let those go. But you can see across there, I've got all my tomatoes in, the okra, and the pepper plants that I've got currently. So we're on our way. Join us next time and we'll talk about heirloom plants. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day.